Good evening, everyone. Today's video is pretty much a life lesson. Um, Today is Friday, the 23rd of June, and today was like payday for us. So here I am last night, which was Thursday, calculating how many days I worked or whatever, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, my check is gonna be this, and that, right? So I get to my job and I get my check, and it's not what I expected, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I have this, and that to do. So I proceed, right? Me, I proceed to um, drive after I leave my job or whatever. I go to the bank. First, I go to the bank that's like two or three buildings down from the place I actually work at. Then I think about it. I'm like, okay, well, I should really go and deposit money in my bank account somewhere else. So what I did was I was like, okay, this place is going to take me. It's going to take me so many minutes to get there, right? So I'm like, okay, this is only like a 30-minute drive, right? On my way there. So here I am driving, and then I think, a thought comes to my mind. It's like, hmm, did you put in avoid tolls, right? Because I stay in Texas, and the toll roads are pretty much on a lot of the highways. And my old car, that's another story. But just in a synopsis, my old car broke down, which had a toll ticket on there. And the way you do the toll stickers is you put the money, upload the money on this account online, and then the money goes into your little sticker that's on your car, right? So I just got my new car on like the 31st of May. So here I am thinking, okay, I can't go on the toll road because I don't have the toll sticker. And then I don't want to be charged through the mail. So I changed the directions, and then when I put avoid tolls in, it now adds 19 minutes to this, which means I'm driving for 49 minutes. So I'm like, okay, cool, my car was almost on full when I left here. Um, it was like on the line before the full line before I left. And I'm like, okay, well, it's only going to take me, 49 minutes. You really need to go to this place, right? So here I am driving, right? Have no idea where I'm going because most of these places are new to me. So as I'm going, I'm just following the GPS. And then in the middle of driving, it says GPS signal lost. Oh my gosh, I almost lost my mind. So after a while, I had to click the X button and then go back in and reload the GPS again. So I'm like, okay, I only have so many more minutes left to go, right? So I get up to this red light, and then there's a car in front of me. I'm like, why won't this person just turn? Because there's a street. There was like a street here, and then there was a street past the light, right? So on the GPS, I wasn't looking down because I was driving. I was just listening to it. So I was like, why this person just won't turn, right? And then I look down because now, we're at the red light. So now I look down and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have turned down this road, I would have ended up way somewhere else instead of where I needed to be. So I proceed to turn, and then I'm like, okay, this place is on the right side. So the GPS did not let me know that the location was this close. So while it's saying, proceed, take a right on such and such street. So I took the right. Soon as you take the right, like literally like a mile from the stop sign or half a mile from the stop sign, the location is like right there. But it's like the street that you're on that's straight, and then you have this other street that's going off, right? The street that's going off is the street I was supposed to go on. So I was already in the lane that you can go either way. So I went on and turned off, and I went to the bank, and I did what I needed to do. And then mm, after I did this, I wanted to send money to my other bank account back home. But then I realized that now it's like at this time it's like I left here at like 2:50. So now it's like, well, yeah, it was like maybe 2:30 when I left here where I stay. I left here around 2:30. So I made it there around 3:30 to the bank, right? This bank closes at 4 o'clock, the one that I arrived at. Then after I get there, I get the money out, from my check that I wanted to go and travel to the other bank because they have like partner banks or whatever and different locations, right? So I looked up the place on the GPS and I had got the money out from one account to drive to the other bank. I get out of the parking lot of the bank that I was originally supposed to be at. And as I'm driving down the road, I go to the side and I'm like, let me put the location in. I put the location in. And it says it's going to take 25 minutes to get there, right? No, it said it's going to be 20 minutes to get there. So at this time, I'm like, okay, 20 minutes is not that bad from my location. Then I look down and I realize that the bank closes at 4 o'clock. It's right now, it's 3:50. So by the time I would have made it to the other bank, it would have been closed. So I proceed to go back into the other bank, put the money in, and just do like the external transfer to my normal bank. Oh my gosh, y'all. This has been a day. Just, okay. I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so after I've done this, I'm like, okay, well, such and such won't get here until whatever day. So this is what I'm going to do, right? So I just put in my location to go home. On my way home, as I'm looking at the GPS, I got in the wrong lane to go off, right? So I had to go all the way down into this neighborhood and make a U-turn and come back up, right? And then I got back on like the little side road, and then I went up again, and then I had to get off the highway again because I took the wrong turn again, a second time, right? But this time I had to go, and then I went back, made another U-turn, and came back up on this same side road, right? So I proceed to keep each time I'm doing this, I'm going farther and farther down. So the last time, right, as I was driving down the street, I was thinking, I should make a YouTube video about this, right? And in my mind, I was like, you know, um, I've been turned around 3 times, right? At this point, I had not been turned around 3 times. So I was like, no, that thought isn't right because I've only had to make a U-turn twice, right? So I come up to this road, and guess what? I went down the wrong street a third time. A third time. So in the midst of this, I'm like, you know what? I'm fed up with driving. I'm mad. Like, literally, I'm not mad, but I'm frustrated. And now I'm becoming anxious because now I'm in a place I have no idea where I'm at, right? So I can't call nobody and be like, hey, I'm in such and such city. It did not have any city signs like where I was. So all it had was like the little highway signs, but it was way on the opposite side. So I was in the far right lane, so I couldn't like read the sign over here. All I could see was the buildings that was beside me. So I went down the street and then I came back up. And then in the midst of this, I had gotten in the wrong lane to get back on the highway. So I had to keep straight all the way down this road. After I had already made the wrong turn the third time, right? I had went all the way down, did a U-turn, and then I didn't get in the right lane to get back on the highway. So now I have to keep all the way straight down the street. I have no idea where I'm going. No idea. Just like, okay, at the next red light, I'll just make a U-turn because that's what the GPS is telling me. Make a U-turn, right? So I get down to this red light and it says, make a U-turn. And guess what I do? I make a U-turn, but then it's telling me to make a U-turn on top of like this cement like I don't even know what you call it, but it's like this cement like block like for the lanes that are going that way, like to keep traffic in one lane. So now I'm making a U-turn into this little blocked area that I'm not supposed to be making a U-turn in, but the GPS has told me make a U-turn. So I did what the GPS told me because I'm lost, right? So I finally get back, up to where I was. I'm like, okay, I'm finally back on the highway. After this, I'm not making no more turns getting back off because the reason why I originally got off the highway is because there was a traffic jam on the highway. Because on my GPS, I can see like it has like this little sign and it has like a car with this like action light sign, I guess, from where it had been an accident. So I had to get off the highway and then get back on the highway. So that's the reason why I had to get off the highway in the first place, right? So at this point, I'm so frustrated, and now I'm hungry because I'm also hypoglycemic. So I can feel my blood sugar starting to drop in the process of this, right? So right now I'm like, I don't want to get off the highway and not be able to get back on the highway because I have no idea where I'm going or where I'm at. So it's not safe to do that, right? So I'm starting to get from frustrated to upset because many people who know that when blood sugars drop, like, I don't know, something happens in your body and this just makes everything like a million times worse than what it is, right? So at this time, I'm just really like within myself, I'm praying and I'm like, Lord, why did I have to do this 3 times? And in the midst of this was what I took from that. No matter how lost we get, God is still there at the end of the way directing us. We just have to follow his lead. God is not like a GPS that will tell you, hey, go here and then make a U-turn, you know, or go here and make a right and it's not the right that you're supposed to take. And like when I was going to the bank, I was supposed to be turning right here and the GPS didn't let me know. In those situations, God lets us know what he wants us to do and when he wants us to do these things. And that really resonated with me because I needed that on today. I literally needed that on today because I had been thinking about so many different things, so much stuff I have to do. And and so many times we fail to acknowledge God in his presence, even in the midst of our distress. And we have to be very careful when we do that. And like I said, in my life, I don't need for anything. I may I may want things that I can't get right now, but I don't need for anything. And that's the grace of God. I have a home. I have food. I have water. I have shelter. I have family, friends. I have people who love me. I have the basic necessities for my life. And there's something to be thankful for because many people don't even have that. Like they have nobody that they can call, when they're in trouble or if something happens. Or some people don't have food to eat, water to drink. We need to consider ourselves lucky. And even with me getting paid today and looking at my paycheck and knowing, I had bills to pay, and but the thing is, it's a blessing to have bills to pay. Because in the midst of that, there are people who don't have cars. There are people who don't have homes, lights, electricity, nothing. Money to buy food, money to buy water. People that don't have a job to provide for their basic necessities and their basic needs in life. So in the midst of this, it made me realize, even though, I was watching that gas hand like nobody's business, how it went from being the full to under half a tank. I was watching it, but I was also watching God in the midst of that because I didn't have to run out of gas, which I didn't run out of gas. I was still under half a tank when I made it back to where I live. And I got off the highway in a place in the area that I knew and I got gas. But even in the midst of that, God is with us. And I just wanted to bring this video to you guys as one of the life lessons for us. We need to consider ourselves blessed beyond belief. Even in the midst of the storms, even when you have to make U-turns and, go different ways from what you think, God is still in the midst of that, and he loves us and he sees us and he sees our lives and he wants to help us along the way. But like I said in the last video, we have to allow him to help us. We have to get rid of self and we have to get rid of self and realize that we are not our creator. God is. We are not even over our lives, over our jobs, over our schooling, over our cars, over our bills, over our money. God is. Because at the end of the day, if we're faithful to God, he'll be faithful to us. And that's all I have to say. And I know you guys are probably like, she had on that same shirt. No, this is a different shirt. I just really like this color. But yeah. So I love you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderfully blessed day and a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Sabbath on tonight and tomorrow. So I love you guys. Peace, love, and blessings. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.